Yesterday we were talking about that state of perfection and how to get there. The process of desire management, containment, and eventual elimination. In order to get there, it is important that we practice certain sadhanas. And Vedanta has put various sadhanas or various practices before us, three of which, the three foundation stones, as it were, of Hinduism, of Vedanta, are Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, Satyam. Brahmacharya at the physical level, Ahimsa at the emotional level, Satyam at the intellectual level. Brahmacharya, what exactly is Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, Satyam, we'll see shortly. But what it does is, it's like this. Ever since I've come here to Delhi, I've been going for a walk in the morning on the lawn, which is wet because of dew or watering the lawn or whatever. So when it's wet and you walk on it, what happens? The mud, the grass sticks to your shoes and it dirties it. So when you come back, you look at it and you say, oh, my shoes are dirty, I should clean it. And you're sitting around talking to people. After a while, when you go back and you try and clean them, it's amazing. It dries up and then it just falls. You don't have to make any great effort to remove that dirt. Similarly, friends, that experience reminded me of our spiritual journey. In our sojourn through life, as we go through life, we seem to accumulate a lot of dirt, desires, vasanas. And this accumulation of desire takes place because of the moisture, because of the wetness, because the atmosphere is conducive to the mud sticking to you. Selfishness. These three practices of Brahmacharya, Ahimsa, Satyam help to dry it up. And when it gets dry, it falls off automatically. The dirt falls off, the dirt of vasanas, the dirt of desires, the dirt of selfishness falls off. So what is most important is, as we'll see here, the fixation of a goal. You must have that vision of something beyond the world. You look around at the world and you say, the world is beautiful, the world is magnificent, this fantastic universe. Who created it? Who maintains it? Who looks after or takes care of every single aspect in the universe? So there must be a transcendental power. Anything runs smoothly, you know there is a manager behind it all who ensures that everything runs smoothly. This whole universe is running smoothly, surely there must be a creator. So once you have this concept of the transcendental, you must fix a clear goal. That this is where I want to get, and I will not settle for anything less than that. Then comes Brahmacharya. Once you fix the goal, then comes Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is commonly translated as celibacy. Brahmacharya is not celibacy. The literal meaning of Brahmacharya is to walk on the path of Brahman. Brahmani charati iti Brahmacharya. So, to walk in the path of Brahman means to walk in the path of the transcendental, the God. So, once you fix your goal, it sets the direction for your life's activities. Any goal that you fix, whether it's a corporate goal, a material goal, whatever be the goal, the fixation of the goal sets the direction in which you move. Thereafter, All your actions must be consistent with that goal. Anything that comes in the way of your pursuit of the goal then must be weeded out. You must have that power, and that power comes if you are true to the goal. If your desire to get to the goal is strong enough, then you will automatically say no to anything which deflects from attaining the goal. This is called Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is not unnecessarily denying yourself enjoyments of the world. An athlete, a sports person who has an important event coming, has that power to turn his back on anything, on any indulgence that detracts from his goal. The recent Reader's Digest has an article, a very interesting article about a surgery where they separated two, what is it called? Conjoined twins. They were joined at the skull, the brain. And an interesting aspect of that article is that the surgeon, the main surgeon, the night before the operation, before the surgery, says he told his wife to make him a light meal with less oil, less spices, light food, so that the food that he eats doesn't upset his stomach, doesn't detract from the surgery. He wanted his resources to be at their peak to be able to come through that surgery. It was a long surgery. Similarly, every one of us has a goal. Every one of us has something fixed that, yes, I must achieve this. Very few achieve the goal. Why is that so? It's not because you don't have the talent or the skills to achieve the goal. It's simply that you don't have the discipline to direct all your actions towards the goal. You allow yourself to meander into all kinds of activities which actually interfere with your attainment of the goal. Brahmacharya is simply that. So, Brahmacharya is to be practiced traditionally when you're young, in youth. It's the first stage of your progress in life. And that is a period of growth, of consolidation, of education, acquisition of knowledge and skills, for which you need to segregate yourself from indulgences of the world. That's all that it means. So at the physical level, you must be able to practice Brahmacharya. Then comes, so the stages of control. There are various stages of control. You can't just, it can't be that one moment you don't have control, next moment you fully control. What are the stages of control? Are initially when you fix a goal and you know that a certain activity interferes with the goal, you say no, there is an initial frustration. But that little bit of frustration, you make up for it because you compensate it with knowledge and you give in later. Say you've gone abroad for a very important conference. You go to Paris for an important conference. It's a 3-day conference. But it is the first time that you visited Paris and you want to do some sightseeing, maybe you want to do some shopping, maybe you want to, I don't know, whatever. The day you get there, even before the conference starts, if you start finding out, oh, where are the nice places to visit? How do I go to it? Interferes with your productivity at the conference because your faculties have to be alert for the conference for you to be successful. So what do? You say 3 days during the conference, I'll shut myself off from everything else. Then you give yourself 1 extra day there. You have 1 extra day there because there's a connecting flight that you have to take somewhere else and you have to spend 1 more day in Paris. That extra day you say, okay, I'll give in. The whole day you do sightseeing, you do shopping, you do whatever else you want. You go to a nightclub and then you're okay. So that initial frustration for 3 days, you make up for it, compensate it with knowledge first. You say, no, I've come here for the purpose of the conference, I must focus there. And then you later give in. That's an intelligent way of going about it. Then as you continue in the pursuit of your goal, you find that the mind itself cooperates, there's less resistance. In other words, the next time you go, you're so focused on your goal that even when you go to a new place, say next time you go to Hong Kong, not now, and you've never been there, the desire itself is not there to go sightseeing because you're so focused on the goal. The mind cooperates. There's less resistance. Then, the third step is the mind itself starts liking the higher. Take for instance, we've come here to Delhi. I'm sure there are million things that can be done by way of enjoyment. But the mind itself doesn't feel like doing all that. You feel so satisfied in the pursuit of the spiritual. You feel so content in this pursuit that you don't even feel like doing anything else. It's not just me. As I mentioned, there's a group of 6, 2 of whom are children, teenagers. And even they haven't, not even once have they said, I find this boring, I want to go out. This is it. The mind itself starts liking the higher. And then ultimately there's a total convergence of the mind and intellect. This is what we're aiming at. This is what Brahmacharya is aiming at. Where you like what your intellect tells you you ought to do. Then there's absolutely no resistance, no friction within you. Next comes ahimsa. Ahimsa again is normally understood as non-violence, meaning you don't hurt anybody physically. It's not that. Ahimsa is not a weakness. Ahimsa is a strength. Ahimsa is an attitude of non-injury towards all creatures which comes as a result of your growth. See, we have all grown to adulthood. And when you watch a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old fight among themselves for slips of paper, posters or stickers or some silly thing like that, do you get judgmental with the children? Do you say, you are selfish? You investigate and find out why are the children fighting? Because the 2-year-old has stolen one more sticker from the 3-year-old. This is what the fight is about. Do you tell the 2-year-old, you are stealing, it's a sin, it's a crime, you will be taken, arrested and put behind bars? You don't say such things. You understand that they are children. And being children, this is what they'll do. So you laugh it off. You don't even try and resolve the fight because they resolve it by themselves. A 2-year-old and 3-year-old fight and they make up and they fight and they make up, this goes on. The problem arises when the adult interferes. So ahimsa is an attitude of non-injury as a result of your growth. Similarly, when you grow to the higher perspective and you see people at the lower level doing all kinds of wrongs, I don't need to elaborate on that, you know. A person who gets agitated, a person who gets disturbed by it, like yesterday somebody told me over the phone, I just casually asked her, how are you? How are things? I made the mistake of asking. Because then he went into a lecture and he said, oh, I am very disturbed. I said, why? What's happened? No, what things are happening around the world is very shocking, very disturbing. You don't get judgmental because you understand people with small minds, people with limited knowledge will do what they're doing. Ahimsa. It comes from a feeling of oneness, love, understanding. Yet, see, you look at a mother who's dealing with her child. The mother loves the child dearly. Every moment of her life That love pervades her personality. Yet, there are moments when the mother is harsh to the child. She should be anyway. There are moments when the mother is actually cruel to the child. But even during those moments when the mother is harsh with the child, if you stop her and ask her, do you hate the child? She'll say, no, I love her dearly. Then why are you being harsh to her? Because I love her. Because you love the person, when the person does wrong, you step in and almost aggressively are harsh with the child. You're aggressive with the child. Yet, right through your interaction with the child, your love for the child, the love of the mother for the child never ever deserts her. So from this you understand that when you genuinely love people, there are times when you need to be harsh with them. There are times when you need to come down on them when they're doing wrong things, when they need this kind of treatment. You can't be pleasing people all the time. This is a weakness. If you want to please everybody all the time, it's first of all, it's not possible. Secondly, you'll be tormented. Because people misunderstand, the slightest gesture is misunderstood. One word here and there is misunderstood. People are so sensitive, so touchy. You can't be pleasing everybody all the time. That is not ahimsa. Ahimsa is a genuine understanding of a person, and when the person throws tantrums, when the person is being selfish, you have to have the courage to stand up, put your foot down. At that moment, the person might get hurt. But you are giving the person a little bit of hurt to save the person from a great deal of torment later on in life. Exactly as the mother does with the child. So this is ahimsa. In the words of Shakespeare, you may be cruel only to be kind. So what you need to do is find a common chord. Your question will be now, how do I get that oneness? The major problem in life is this feeling of separateness from people. All the problems stem from that. When you feel separate from somebody else, then the problem begins. When you feel one, there's no problem. So, when you identify with the body, there is maximum separateness. You're interested only in me because everybody else is separate from you. When you identify with your mind, you begin to see a oneness at least within the family. In the family, every individual, every member of the family is unique, distinct and different from everyone else, right? There is no uniformity among the family members. Yet, when you look at your family members, your feeling towards them is one of love, oneness. How does that happen? Because you understand they are all mine. This feeling that they are all mine takes precedence over the differences that exist. Then you move from the mind to the intellect. Suppose you have that oneness with all members of the nation, all citizens of the nation, like Gandhiji did. Then you don't see any differences. Whether the person is a North Indian or a South Indian or a Gujarati or a Bengali or Hindu, Christian, Muslim, etc. Educated, uneducated, refined, unrefined, they're all one. And it is this feeling of oneness that binds everybody together. When you feel one with people, you cannot bring yourself to be cruel to them. You cannot bring yourself to be himsak towards them. You go Vedanta, the Bhagavad Gita takes you one step forward. And when you identify with Atman, the whole universe becomes yours. Now your point will be, how can I see? You will say, I see oneness with everybody. The only thing is, I can't see oneness with my who? Spouse? No. Things are not so bad here. Mother-in-law. And you say, how can I feel one with my mother-in-law when she has such terrible qualities? she's vicious, she's harmful. How can I feel one with her? To which, go back to your own experience. When you look at yourself in the mirror, there are exhibitions for children, for the entertainment of children, where you go into a hall and there's this passage with different mirrors. One mirror is, you look at yourself in one mirror and you appear nice and fat, round. You look at yourself in another mirror and you appear elongated. You look at yourself in a third mirror and your face is all contorted, distorted. When children see that, it becomes a source of amusement for them. They laugh. They laugh when they see the distortions of their personality in the reflection. How does that happen? Because they understand that they are still immaculate. They are what they are. The distortions that they see in the reflections are not inherent in them. They are a product of the mirror. Right? In the same way, a man of perfection, when he looks at different people, he sees them as nothing but reflections of his own self. Whatever distortions he sees, the distortions he knows, distortions means bad qualities. He sees them not as a bad person, but he sees them as good people with distortions. The distortions are a product of the mirror. The mirror is the body, mind, intellect. So you must be able to differentiate the person from the qualities. Everyone is good. He just happens to have different qualities. We're not even saying bad qualities, different qualities. And if you're able to focus on that, when you see yourself in the mirror, what happens? You admire yourself in the mirror, right? Similarly, a man of perfection, when he sees individuals with faults, he admires himself in them. He's able to connect immediately, feels a sense of oneness with them. And the faults, the distortions, he glosses over. In fact, they become a source of amusement. Are you able to see that? If you're able to function like this, it gives tremendous power. True ahimsa confers power. Next we come to Satyam, the intellectual exercise. Satyam is not just speaking the truth. It goes way beyond that. Satyam is to be true to your own self, true to your own conscience, to have the courage and conviction to follow your own conscience even when the odds are stacked against you. And as Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. So, most of us are concerned about what will people think of me. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. What matters is, what do you think of yourself? What does your conscience have to say about you? That we very conveniently forget. Because it's unpleasant. Because it requires strength to stand up for what your conscience tells you, even if it means being unpleasant. So, Satyam, truth is that. Why do we say be true to your conscience? Because it's the conscience that leads you towards Atman, towards the state of perfection. The truth. What is true? What is reality? Reality is defined as that which remains the same in the past, present, and future. If you apply this definition of truth to your experiences in the world, you'll find that the waking state of consciousness, the dream state of consciousness, and the deep sleep state, in other words, all that you experience in the world fails the test of reality because it doesn't persist. It doesn't remain the same in the past, present, and future. So if the waking, dream, and deep sleep states are unreal, then what is real is the question. That requires your investigation. But before you investigate, you must at least accept that what you're going through is unreal. And then comes the discomfort with the unreal and the the urge to find out the truth. This is the starting point of spirituality. So this is the truth. The world has been given to us. The world is like a sheet of glass. You see a window? A window is placed in your home. Why is it placed there? For you to look through the glass and to the wonderful scenery beyond it. If there is a window, a beautiful window,